Think before you speak. Hello, my name is Yas and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very close to my heart because not only have I been personally impacted by it, but I know so many people who I love and care about who are going through similar things right now. Words are a way of communicating how we feel, what we want, what we don't want, what we like, what we don't like, and so on and so forth. But they're not just simply words. Everything that we say and do has some sort of an effect on someone else's life. And that effect can be as little as nothing, or it could actually mean someone else's life. And you may be saying, wow, that's incredibly dramatic, but is it really? Just think for a second. Has anyone ever said something to you that made you second guess yourself, your self-worth, your confidence, your path in life? Or on the flip side, has ever said something to you that made you feel encouraged, loved, empowered? Chances are, if you are being completely honest with yourself, in one way or another, at some point in your life, you have been impacted by someone else's words. I feel like this is such an important topic to talk about and discuss because time after time, as I speak with a lot of my close family and friends, I'm noticing this trend where they have been actually impacted by someone else's words. And these words don't just come from random strangers. They actually, more often than not, they come from our close family and friends. And that's why they are so hurtful and they have such a big impact. There was a time in my own life where I was having a conversation with someone that I really cared about. And I remember it wasn't a very happy conversation. It was something that we were going back and forth on. And this person basically turned around and told me, hey, listen, you're really antisocial and I really don't like that about you. And I know that person did not have any intention of whatsoever hurting me or saying that to make me feel bad in any way. But nonetheless, that did not stop me from getting lost in the idea that I was actually antisocial. I remember after that conversation, I got home and for hours and for weeks, I was just on Google searching topics around being antisocial and what I can do about it. Keep in mind, as openly as I'm speaking about this right now, at that point, I felt silenced by myself. I didn't feel comfortable sharing this with my family or my friends because I was so convinced that I was antisocial that I didn't want people to find out about it. And at one point, I remember I was actually incredibly convinced that I had social anxiety. I mean, nowadays you Google anything and it tells you that you're gonna die. But in my case, it told me that I had social anxiety. But, I can laugh about it now, but it's just so crazy in my mind how that whole thing developed over time. And it only developed from a word that triggered something inside of me. And I remember there were times where I would sit down in front of people and I would have conversations with them, and this anxiety would start peeking in and my heart rate would be through the roof. My mind would get cluttered and busy, and I would have conversation with myself as someone else was having a conversation with me, and I would be like, oh my god, what if I can't keep up with this conversation? Are they gonna know that I have social anxiety? Or what the hell am I going to do? And it would literally throw me off. And I don't know if anyone else would notice in me as the conversation was going on, but personally, I felt like I was in a personal hell, and I felt like I was drowning with every single conversation that I had. And it's so crazy how literally that developed because I didn't have that in me before. And you know what the craziest part about all of this is the shame that I experienced. I felt so much shame throughout that period of my life because I really, really valued being social, and I really, really valued that person's opinion. And those two things coming together literally made me convince myself that I had social anxiety. You know, today I'm really happy to say that I'm no longer experiencing what I experienced a few years ago. And as stuck as I felt throughout that experience, something in me knew that I was triggered, and it was kept telling me, how you feel right now, it's not normal. And because of that, I was able to actually seek out help eventually. And I remember I went to a therapist, and finally someone was able to shine a light on this whole thing that had grew so big in my head. And it was a great reminder of who I truly really was. The reason I am sharing this now today is because I was having a conversation with someone that I really cared about, and I remember they had gone through a very similar experience. I mean, the words that they were triggered by were different, but the experience was very similar. And they turned around to me and they said, Yas, I think it's just crazy to me, because I think what I heard, what I was told, had a bigger impact on me than I would have realized. And when she said that, it really broke my heart, because it was just such a reminder of what I had gone through. And you know, all I could do there is just remind her of who she was. But I know it's more of a personal journey than anything else when something like that happens. But the truth is, if I'm going through this and they're going through this, I know that there are so many other people who are going through this. And that's why I think it's so important to talk about this. So the real question here is, how can we actually address this issue? Personally, I feel more aware than I ever did before when it comes to other people's comments and opinions. I know that I can't control what someone else says about me or to me, but I know that I can control what I can do with that information. I can either accept it and question my own self-worth, or I can just not give a damn and let the words come through this ear and out the other. At the end of the day, the choice is mine, and honestly, that makes me feel so empowered. But the real message that I really want to share in this video is to be very intentional with the words that you choose to use, because often we are not aware of what the person that we are speaking to is going through. We don't know their mindsets, and we don't know their insecurities. My rule of thumb: don't speak unless it comes from a place of love. And even when you are speaking from a place of love, just be very mindful of the words that you choose to use. Because as easy as it is to say something, it's impossible to take it back. Once the words have left your mouth, you have absolutely no control over them whatsoever. And they can go on to have a very long-lasting impact on someone else's life. Word by word, sentence by sentence, let's make sure we're doing everything we can to make life beautiful and inclusive for everyone. If you watched this far, I want to say thank you. This was a really big one for me to share, and I really hope that you were able to take some sort of value away from it. And if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and share this with somebody who you really love and care about. And until next time, bye!